Should Mike Evans have known better in this situation?
He absolutely should have known better. Hell, Skip, he came in nursing an injury. Remember the calf? He missed a large share of the Cowboys game because
I don't even think he's right in this game. Go
exactly.
Ahead.
He missed a part of the Cowboys game. He was practice. He probably was limited somewhat in practice, and so he was kind of hobbled coming into this.
That was the quickest I saw him move all day, was to come back and get Marshawn.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he should not be surprised that he got suspended. And plus, based on his history of doing this before and getting suspended before that, so the precedent is there. When you unsportsmanlike conduct, when you unnecessary rough someone, after the play is over, Skip, I can see you could have an argument, unnecessary roughness during the play. But once it's a dead ball, the play is completely over. You can't do that and then make an argument talking about, well, this was Tom Brady. Tom Brady's at fault because he escalated. There's a reason why Tom was throwing iPads. There's a reason why he was cursing, Skip, because of the guys that he was throwing to.
That is correct.
So when you put your guy in harm's way, you know he's going to come to defend you because you're Tom Brady. You're already without Godwin. You're already without Julio.
And for that matter, you're without Gronk.
You're without Gronk. Skip, Mike Evans is hobbled. So to put them at further risk, and I'm Skip right in that moment, Mike Evans is not thinking. All he's thinking, oh man, somebody about to do something to Tom. So he's coming. He put Leonard Fournette. They could have thrown Leonard Fournette out of the ball game, which would further deplete their offense. So yes, Tom should have known. Because all Tom had to do, Tom's issue was with the official. He was going to holler at the back judge or the far side judge because he felt Scotty Miller was impeded. Okay, no matter what Marshon Lattimore, he didn't say anything. He just, get out of here with that. And Tom turned, forgot about the official that he was going to talk to, Skip, and said something to Marshon Lattimore. And so Marshawn stepped back to him. And then here come Leonard Fournette. So he brought a lot of guys into the fray. On the offensive side, which they're depleted. Look at their offensive line. Look at the receiving core. So, yes, I don't think in that moment that Mike Evans is thinking that. All he's thinking that, oh, I got to protect Tom. But Tom is at fault here because not only did he put Mike Evans and a depleted receiver core at risk, he also risked getting Leonard Fournette thrown out of the ballgame or possibly suspended. And now they're going to review the tape. Everybody that came into that frame is going to get a fine. And they're going to get a firm warning says if this were to happen again, you get suspended. It's also had a conversation with Bruce Arians.
Well, they sent him a warning. They said one more time and you're at least off the sideline, which you probably should be anyway.
I don't know. I know a lot of assistants, the GMs, and they're not down on the field still. They're up in the box with the general manager. If you want to be on the sideline, you should have still been coaching. Oh, my bad.
Okay. Although it was pointed out that Light, the GM, he often watches from the sideline too. But whatever. Okay, I got you. Shannon Sharpe.
Uh-oh.
You are correct about everything you said. As I told you yesterday, in my life, in my lengthy career of observing quarterbacks in the National Football League, I have never seen any quarterback react the way Tom Brady reacts. And it can be childish, it can be psycho-Tomish, it can be wrong, and wronger. But he actually will run down the field to get in somebody's face, a referee's or a DB's face, when he is unhinged, when he is so frustrated that his emotions boil completely over. The beauty, the one redeeming value of Tom Brady is his emotions don't run amok. They don't run away with him because he'll still channel them back into performing, you know, because he did throw what became the game-breaking touchdown pass it'd be about 4 minutes after this. In game time, it was about 7.5 minutes left, and this was 12-ish minutes left, you know. Okay, so the point is, yeah, he lost it for a second. He ran all the way up the field because he was convinced that Marshon Lattimore, who was relegated to covering their wide receiver one, who had become little Scotty Miller. That's all they had left at that point. He just hounded him all the way. He just rode him up the sideline and rode him out of bounds. And Brady's convinced that's a foul. And he runs to the referee and is screaming at the referee. And then Marshawn obviously is defending himself to Brady, tries to wave him off. And then Brady loses it to Marshawn. God knows what that verbal back and forth became. And then Fournette winds up in the vicinity, and he's going to defend his quarterback. And then I don't, Marshawn, I don't know who, it looked like Marshawn pushed first, pushed Fournette, and then.
No, Fournette pushed him.
I guess he pushed first, but it was close. It was real close. There was like bumping going on. And then it looked to Mike Evans, according to Mike Evans, like Marshawn actually swung on, but he shoved it, he got him up under the helmet.
Yep.
Anyway, it looked like a punch, according to Evans, to Evans.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he lost it too.
Right.
He lost it the way his quarterback had lost it. And he claims it had nothing to do with their bad blood, which is dated back, as you know, to 2017 when he got, he didn't get ejected,
but he did get suspended.
He got suspended in 2017 for hitting him. He hit him in the back in 2017. It was as he said after the game, that was a complete cheap shot in 2017. He got suspended for that. Okay, so again, to your point, it starts with Brady. But here's the point that I try to make back to you. I get it. They are now in jeopardy, man. They are in harm's way because they clearly have lost Mike. He appealed to James Thrash. It's not going to get overturned. No. Okay, so he's going to miss a pretty big game against a top 10 defense and Green Bay's defense coming to Tampa.
Well, if you had Julio Godwin, Skip, you're like, okay, yeah, we'd love to have Mike Evans, but we still got...
With Julio, it's such a big X factor, and to your credit, you pointed this up. I kept saying, man, he's got Julio Jones, and he looked so good in the preseason, and he looked so good on that 48-yard catch at Dallas on opening night. But you said, well, you just can't trust it.
Yeah.
He pulls everything. He just pulls. And now they're saying it's a hamstring issue as well as a lingering knee issue.
Yep.
Okay, well, he just can't, for what's it been now, 3-4 years?
Yep.
He just couldn't stay healthy since the Super Bowl year, right? Okay, so it's possible he might play on Sunday, but I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to bet on it. It's possible Cole Beasley, who they desperately reached for to acquire, he's sitting on his couch. Remember, nobody wanted Cole Beasley.
Correct.
Tom Brady said, well, I'll try it. I'll take that. That's better than what I got to work with right now. As you point out, they put him on the practice squad. Could he be elevated in time for this game? Could Brady work him into the mix?
Brady said, how soon can you learn to play?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to doubt it. Okay. I'm going to doubt that's just too quick of a turnaround.
Okay.
So, once again, Brady's going to be relegated to throwing to little Scotty Miller. And just for the record, there was rampant speculation during training camp that Scotty Miller was going to get cut.
Right.
He wasn't even going to make the final roster. And he often didn't dress last year. He was coming off a turf toe injury. But he was a no-show last year. He wasn't even a factor. He got 8 targets.
AB got his minutes.
Huh?
AB got his minutes.
Well,
I mean, he wasn't even playing until AB did what he did.
I got it. So he didn't just become a slot receiver because Russell Gage was in the slot the other day as a newcomer from the Falcons. But little Scotty Miller, Brady had to throw him a team-high 8 passes at New Orleans. Remember, this is your arch rival, your nemesis on the road against a top 5 defense that has had your number, and you're having to throw 8 balls to Scotty Miller?
And you know why, Skip? That's why Marshon Lattimore was on him. Because guess what Brady had started throwing the ball to? Little Scotty Miller.
Okay.
No one else was getting it.
I'm sure Marshawn's kind of laughing to himself in the huddle like, I'm going to cover him.
This is the easiest assignment here.
Because he's not a route runner. All he can do is run.
He can run now.
And he can flat out go. He's a 4.3 kid.
Yeah.
He's a little 5'8"-ish, 175, and he can run 4.3, but that's all he can do is run 4.3.
Right.
He's not a route runner. He's not shifty.
That's why it's so hard for him to play the slot, because he is so fast.
Yeah.
It takes him a while to get in and out of breaks, where, Edelman and Amendola and the guys that work the slot, they're not, say, speed guys.
Right. And Brady had thrown him a couple of balls that were catchable, but he's not a huge hands guy.
One of them, he slipped. Remember, he slipped, Skip, and Brady like, what are we doing?
Yes, what are we doing? He's screaming to the heavens like, what? Remember, what Brady's thinking in the back of his mind is, I unretired and jeopardized my home life for this?
That's exactly what he's thinking.
I came back, and it's the second game of the year, and I'm throwing to freaking Scotty Miller?
That's exactly what he's thinking.
And I think he likes him personally. He's got it's like he kind of took him under his wing a little bit. But he's just not the answer to this. Okay, so here's my biggest takeaway on this. This is where we diverge. What Mike Evans did was short-term dumb, but long-term, it benefits this team because in the biggest picture, which is the Super Bowl picture, it shows you how much they love their quarterback. It also shows you how united this team is. And I told you, I don't know how Brady did it, but He changed that culture almost overnight during a pandemic.
He told Brady, he come in there with instant credibility.
He did. And I kept telling you, he instilled and installed the Patriot way in Tampa Bay through the pandemic. Remember, they were throwing in the park and got thrown out of the park because it was off limits to anybody because it was the pandemic.
Right.
Well, that was all he had to start off with. And he flipped that whole culture around the right direction. They go win the Super Bowl in his first year there. It's because there's a deep bond of love and respect that he has developed, and I think his favorite is Mike Evans. I think they're about as close as anybody, and you pointed out Mike Evans was waiting for him after the game in the tunnel to hug him.
Yeah.
Okay, that will endure. That will pay dividends down the road, that they all stood up for each other. Fournette got in the middle of it. Mike Evans got way too much in the middle. So it was dumb. It's like, if you're the leader of the receivers, which he clearly, of that room, I'm pretty sure he's the guy in the receiver room, right?
Yeah.
And he's a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, he got to see on his jersey along with Brady.
That is correct. So it's like, okay, you're the captain and you did that, knowing full well that Aaron Rodgers and company are coming to Tampa for another big game against two of the most decorated quarterbacks in the history, right?
Well, Skip, it's a situation where, you know, the old saying, he took one for the team.
Okay.
Because for the great, you're right, short term, like, come on, Mike, bro, we down receivers.
It's just dumb.
The last thing we need.
But you wouldn't. He's a smart young man. Like he knows the score, but he knows there's a bigger score of, what did he tell the referee? He turned to him and he said, come on, that's Tom Brady.
Right.
Well, okay, so that's the bottom line for this whole team.
You remember T.O. said about Romo? That's my quarterback.
Okay, I think he was saying it a little
But I'm saying, you know, y'all beating him up and saying, but he said, that's my quarterback. I'm not going to let somebody take a cheap shot on him.
Right.
Leonard Fournette's like, I'm not going to let y'all do that to Tom.
Okay. So now, Mike Evans took a huge risk, and then our friend Jarrett Bell was talking to Mike Evans after the game in the locker room, and the quote from Mike Evans was that, hey, he was talking about 2017. He said, that was when I really cheap-shotted Marshawn. That was real. He says, his back was turned, so I hit him really hard. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't get ejected. They let me keep playing, and we were down 30-3. So his point was, in that instance, they didn't even eject him for that.
Right.
But then upon further review the next day, a couple of days later, they suspended him. But he made the point that on the same Sunday back in 2017, that Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Green were ejected for fighting. They just got into, they're throwing punches at each other, and neither of them got suspended. So he's saying, in the end, he said, if it's consistent, meaning the way you rule on these things, I'll be good.
Well, you're going to be consistent. You got suspended the first time you did it. You're about to get suspended again because you have a history. And the difference is that A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey, it was a live ball. The play was still going on. You did a dead ball. The play, you knew the play was over. The play had been over. As a matter of fact, you know how you knew it was over? You was walking your butt out the field. So at what play do they have in the Tampa Bay playbook where Mike Evans almost get to the field, about to step off the sideline, and then comes back and beat the guy? You said he had his back turned to you. Skip, the guy was not looking at you. He was looking at Tom Brady. Yeah, you shoved him in the chest. But
at least in his peripherals, he at the last second, he saw you coming. But it's still pretty cheap.
Yes.
It's cheapish.
Yes.
It's not a flat-out cheap shot, but it's pretty cheapish.
Right. So with that being said, I think they're going to be very consistent with you, Mike. I believe I believe your suspension will get upheld. I don't believe you're going to win this appeal because, like you said, your history. You've done this before to the very same guy.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not buying that there's that bad blood didn't sort of
course it did.
Cloud your judgment because
Skip, if you watch it, if you go back and watch the video, he's looking. He's like, oh, that's him. And he moves because Brady, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Brady, is between him. So he positioned himself to move around and come shove him. So he knew exactly who it was. And Skip, there's somebody, when you really don't like somebody and you get an opportunity to say something or do something, you make sure you get it.
Okay. So as we spoke of yesterday, I told you, I've never, ever seen a quarterback do what Tom Brady did, but he was the instigator. You're correct.
Yeah.
He was the fire starter because he got in the middle of it. But the point is, I believe that Fournette and Mike Evans and everybody else loves it that he gets in the middle of it. I just believe this with all my heart and soul. If you were his number one target, if you played with Tom Brady, I believe you would at least like it.
Right.
Maybe not love it, but at least like it.
Oh, I'm going to defend it.
That he would stick his nose in the middle of that, and that he gets into it with Honey Badger in the Super Bowl.
But you got to make sure, as DBs, I wouldn't recommend you go and doing that with Aaron Donald. I wouldn't recommend you go doing that to Myles Garrett.
Okay, but it's usually DB.
Exactly.
I mean, to my knowledge, it's that Anthony Smith for Pittsburgh when he ran all the way to the end zone after he guaranteed that they were going to win at Foxborough. That was 2007.
Right.
It's Honey Badger in the Super Bowl, another safety.
Yeah.
And now it's Marshon Lattimore. But the point is that there's a depth of love for him doing that, even though I told you yesterday, it's like I am not a role model. Kids don't try this at home because no quarterback's ever done this before. I don't know one that's.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skip. It's like you got a girlfriend and she keep running her mouth at these games. Hey, bro, I'm gonna defend you, babe, but hey, let that go. Tom, we're going to defend you, but you need to stop getting into it because you're getting us in trouble. You're hurting us. You leading to the potential of one of us getting suspended when we're already depleted. So I'm going to defend you, but babe, let that go. Okay, fine.
I agree. I buy that. But now here we go again with Brady, and because Mike Evans took one for the team, and it's a long-term gain, short-term big loss.
Right.
You're going into a home game against Green Bay. They went there in 2020, obviously, and you just blasted them off your own turf. But now you're a 1.5-point favorite at home, so Vegas doesn't love you. It should
I think Vegas is anticipating Mike Evans being suspended.
Okay.
That Julio probably not going to play. Chris Godwin's not going to probably play. And they're looking at the offense. Okay, yeah, we understand they have a great defense, but where are they going to generate points? And considering, Skip, they scored, 19 and 20. So they're averaging about, 19 points a game.
Okay.
That's the lowest that Brady has averaged basically since 2003.
Right. Now think of what he's up against now. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to start, once again, his third-string left tackle.
Right.
Unless Donovan Smith can suck it up and fight through the pain and play. But it doesn't sound like he's going to. He's got a rookie left guard and a center who will now be starting his third game in his life at center. Well, it's driving him crazy because it's Scotty Miller as his number one target, and then it's Russell Gage as number 2, as it was last Sunday, and number 3 is Bashard Perriman, who caught the touchdown pass that broke the game open with 7.5 minutes left and made it 10-3. Well, Aaron Rodgers had his problems at receiver, but he's got Lazard back.
Right.
And that Christian Watson, he is a talented, fast kid, and I know he's just a baby, but at least you have that. He's more talented than what Brady has to work with right now. And then we could throw in all the other ones who are still around in Green Bay. It's not, I mean, Randall, still got Randall Cobb, who's one of his.
Tanyan is back.
And Tanyan is back. So his core is certainly better than Brady's wide receiver core going into this game.
Right.
So the point is, Brady is up against it, man. I don't know. This is a tough one. And he is, to your point, he's 45 years of age, and he still just got voted by his peers as the best player in all of pro football. Well, now he's going to have to be in this game to pull this one off.
Well, hey, you exposed yourself.
Yep.
Because just let something skip. Hey, man, just let that go. Should have just let it go. You'd have Mike Evans, but his emotions got the best of him. He's like, hey, and like I said, just continue on to the referee. Hey, he held him. I mean, come on, you can't armbar the guy. You can't impede the guy's progress. Just carry on like that. But whatever the motion that Marshawn did, and then you can see Brady, I mean, he was livid because he's like, whatever F you or whatever he said, and Marshawn peeled back.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yep.
And then that started it all.
Here we go. Well, you might see more of the same on Sunday. You just might.
Well, he's literally have to go get somebody from Merritt Island or Orlando to play receiver if he loses any more guys.
Yeah, I was suggesting Sarasota. I like Sarasota.
Oh, you want
get 3 guys from Sarasota?
Yeah, they're probably not going to be able to help him if they're from Sarasota.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers might get.
Gentlemen, it's not just the receiving core that's a bit thin for that home opener. You've also got Akeem Hicks on the D-line and Josh Wells, offensive tackle, who will be out for Brady as well on Sunday. That game is the late game on the NFL on Fox. Going to be a good one. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.